The relentless hum of the modern world, the endless scroll, the inbox demanding attention, the constant pressure to be more, do more, have more. In this cacophony, where does peace reside? Where do we find that profound stillness, that unshakable serenity that seems to elude us with every new notification, every new demand on our consciousness? For many, peace has become a whispered myth, a fleeting promise perpetually just beyond reach. We seek it in external circumstances, a quieter job, a more serene environment, a perfect relationship. But the truth, as an ancient master revealed over 9 centuries ago, is far more radical, far more internal, and profoundly more powerful. What if the very source of our restlessness isn't out there, but deep within? What if true, unassailable peace isn't found by escaping the world, but by purifying the self? Welcome to the Sacred Mirror, where we journey into the heart of timeless wisdom. Today, we confront one of the most pressing challenges of our age, the quest for inner peace amidst overwhelming distraction. And our guide through this labyrinth is none other than Abu Hamid Muhammad ibn Muhammad Al-Ghazali, a figure so monumental in Islamic thought that he was bestowed the title Hujjat al-Islam, the proof of Islam. Al-Ghazali was no ordinary scholar. Born in the Persian city of Tus in 1058, he rose to become the most celebrated intellectual of his time, a luminary whose brilliance illuminated the grand halls of Baghdad's Nizamiya Madrasa. He mastered philosophy, law, theology, and logic, his intelligence sharp enough to dismantle the most complex arguments of his opponents. He had fame, wealth, students hanging on his every word, and the respect of sultans and caliphs. By all outward measures, he possessed everything a man could desire. Yet, beneath this glittering facade, a profound spiritual crisis was brewing. The intellectual sparring, the debates, the pursuit of worldly knowledge began to feel hollow. He realized that his exhaustive academic pursuits had left his heart dry, his soul unfulfilled. He preached about piety, yet he felt a deep hypocrisy within himself. The recognition, the accolades, the intellectual victories, they were all external. They brought no lasting peace, no genuine contentment. This inner turmoil culminated in a dramatic, almost unthinkable decision. At the peak of his career, Al-Ghazali renounced everything. He abandoned his prestigious professorship, his wealth, his family, and vanished into the anonymity of a wandering ascetic. For 11 long years, he embarked on a solitary journey of self-discovery, traversing Syria, Jerusalem, and Mecca. He was searching not for more knowledge in books, but for direct, experiential truth, for a genuine connection to the divine. This was not an escape from life, but an intensive, rigorous engagement with the deepest aspects of the self. He sought to understand the very fabric of human consciousness, the intricate workings of the soul, and the path to authentic inner purification. What Al-Ghazali discovered during those years of intense introspection and spiritual striving was a profound truth. The root cause of our unrest, our anxiety, our perpetual dissatisfaction lies not in external circumstances, but in the unpurified state of our own inner world, what he called the Nafs, often translated as the self, the soul, or even the ego. Imagine your heart not just as a physical organ, but as a sacred mirror designed to reflect the pure light of truth. When this mirror is covered in dust, grime, and imperfections, it cannot reflect clearly. Similarly, when the nafs is afflicted by what Al-Ghazali termed diseases of the heart, it becomes incapable of experiencing true peace, clarity, or connection. These diseases are the spiritual vices that cloud our inner vision, distort our perception, and drive us into cycles of suffering. They are the insidious whispers that prevent us from finding stillness, even when the world around us is quiet. Al-Ghazali's genius lay not just in identifying these spiritual ailments, but in offering a precise diagnostic and a radical prescription. He meticulously cataloged the diseases of the heart, revealing how deeply ingrained they are in the human psyche and how powerfully they obstruct our journey to inner peace. Let's explore some of these crucial maladies. First, there is kibr, pride and arrogance. This isn't just about boasting, it's a deep-seated belief in one's superiority, a refusal to acknowledge faults, and an inability to truly learn or grow. Pride blinds us to our imperfections, making self-correction impossible. It erects walls between us and others, fostering isolation and preventing genuine connection, which is a source of profound peace. Then comes hasad, envy. Envy is a corrosive emotion, a poisonous seed that grows when we resent the blessings of others. It prevents us from feeling contentment with what we have, always looking over the fence, comparing ourselves, and finding ourselves in want. A heart consumed by envy can never truly rest. Tama, greed and avarice, is another potent disease. This is the insatiable desire for more, whether it's wealth, status, possessions, or even knowledge pursued for worldly gain. Greed enslaves us, driving us in a relentless chase for things that, even if attained, can never truly satisfy the soul. It makes us anxious about what we lack and fearful of losing what we possess, shattering any hope of peace. Riya, ostentation or showing off, is the act of performing good deeds or displaying virtuous qualities for the sake of human praise rather than divine pleasure. It turns our spiritual acts into performances, making us dependent on external validation and stripping our actions of their sincerity. A life lived for others' approval is a life constantly on edge, never truly at peace. And finally, ghadab, anger. While anger can be a natural human emotion, unbridled, uncontrolled anger is a destructive force that can devastate relationships and wreak havoc on our inner tranquility. It clouds judgment, fuels resentment, and leaves a trail of regret, making true serenity impossible. These and many other vices like backbiting, gossip, miserliness, and excessive attachment to worldly things are the weeds in the garden of the heart. They choke out the blossoming flowers of peace, contentment, and gratitude. Al-Ghazali's profound insight was that true spiritual progress, and therefore true inner peace, begins with diagnosing and meticulously working to eradicate these inner diseases. So, what is Al-Ghazali's prescription? It is the lost art of Tazkiyat al-Nafs, the purification of the self. This is not a passive process, but an active, lifelong journey of spiritual striving and inner transformation. It's about systematically cleansing the heart of its vices and adorning it with virtues. It's a profound spiritual psychology that is remarkably relevant today. Central to Tazkiyat al-Nafs are several key practices. First, muhasaba, self-observation and introspection. This is the constant, diligent accounting of our inner state. Just as a merchant reviews his ledger at the end of the day, Al-Ghazali urged us to take stock of our thoughts, intentions, and actions. What were our motives? Did we act with sincerity? Did pride creep in? Were we patient or angry? This rigorous self-assessment, free from self-deception, is the first step towards recognizing the weeds that need pulling. It requires brutal honesty and a willingness to confront our darkest impulses. In our modern context, it's a form of profound mindfulness, not just observing our breath, but observing the very movements of our soul.
Second, mujahada, sustained striving and struggle. Once we identify a vice, we must actively work to counteract it. If we find ourselves prone to anger, we must consciously practice patience and forgiveness. If greed consumes us, we must cultivate generosity. This isn't easy. It's a battle against deeply ingrained habits and desires. It requires immense spiritual courage and discipline. It's the spiritual equivalent of working out a muscle. The more you strive against an undesirable trait and for a virtuous one, the stronger your spiritual character becomes. And third, the cultivation of mahmudat, praiseworthy qualities or virtues. This is not enough to simply remove the bad, we must plant the good. Al-Ghazali emphasizes virtues like shukr, gratitude. A heart filled with gratitude for all blessings, big and small, leaves no room for envy or discontentment. It anchors us in the present moment, appreciating what is rather than lamenting what isn't. Sabr, patience and perseverance. Patience in the face of adversity. Patience in striving for spiritual growth. Patience with the imperfections of others. It is the ability to maintain inner calm amidst external storms. Ikhlas, sincerity. Performing all actions, spiritual or worldly, solely for the sake of the divine, free from any desire for human praise or recognition. Sincerity liberates us from the exhausting performance of riya. Sidq, truthfulness, not just in speech, but in intention, in commitment, in living authentically. A truthful heart is a clear heart. Tawakkul, reliance on God. A deep trust that liberates the heart from excessive worry and anxiety, knowing that true sustenance and protection come from a higher power. Consider the analogy of an inner garden. Our heart is this garden. Without tending, it will be overrun by weeds, the spiritual diseases. These weeds choke out any potential for beauty or fruit. Tazkiyat al-Nafs is the arduous but rewarding work of consistently weeding this garden, removing pride, envy, greed, and then consciously planting the seeds of virtues, gratitude, patience, sincerity, nurturing these seeds with the water of spiritual practices and the sunlight of remembrance. Over time, this garden blossoms into a place of breathtaking beauty, offering shade, sustenance, and fragrant flowers of peace. The outcome of this dedicated purification is sukun al-qalb, the tranquility of the heart. It is a state of profound inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a contentment that pervades one's being, a clarity of vision, and a direct, unmediated connection to divine truth. This is the impossible peace Al-Ghazali discovered, a peace so deep that the storms of the world cannot disturb its profound stillness. It is the heart reflecting truth like a perfectly polished mirror, undistorted by the dust of ego and desire. How does this ancient wisdom translate to our hyper-distracted modern world? Al-Ghazali's teachings are more relevant than ever. In an age of information overload, digital addiction, and constant external stimulation, Tazkiyat al-Nafs offers a profound counter-narrative. It calls us to practice digital muhasaba, regularly assess our consumption of media. Is it feeding our soul or feeding our anxieties? Are we scrolling out of genuine interest or out of an unpurified compulsion for distraction? Engage in mujahada against consumerism. Actively resist the relentless urge for more, cultivating contentment with what we have rather than being driven by external desires. Cultivate mindfulness as a modern dhikr. Use present moment awareness to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing us to identify the diseases before they take root. Prioritize sincerity over likes. Let our actions, online and offline, be driven by genuine intention, not by the hunger for validation. Al-Ghazali's journey teaches us that true liberation, true peace, is an inside job. It is not about changing the world around us, but about fundamentally transforming the world within. It is a profound process of self-discovery and self-mastery that, once undertaken, promises a peace that is not fleeting, but enduring, a clarity that is not temporary, but everlasting. It is the ultimate antidote to the spiritual barrenness of our age, a pathway to becoming truly whole, truly present, and truly at peace. If you find yourself yearning for this unshakable peace, for a deeper connection to your authentic self, then the lost art of al-Ghazali's inner purity is your path. This journey of Tazkiyat al-Nafs is demanding, but its rewards are beyond measure. A heart cleansed, a mind stilled, and a soul illuminated. Join us on this profound journey of rediscovery. Subscribe to the Sacred Mirror for more timeless wisdom from the world's greatest mystics and philosophers. And hit that notification bell so you never miss a revelation that can transform your understanding of self and reality. Until next time, may your inner mirror shine with unblemished purity.